All right, this is your respiratory system model. When we talk about your respiratory system, we're going to first start with your nasal cavity, the three sections of your pharynx. We're going to talk about the larynx or the voice box, and then the bronchial tree as it gets over here. So I want to talk about the nasal cavity first. The nasal cavity is this whole section. There are three bony projections in your nose called nasal concha, and the passages are called nasal meatuses. Now, in order for air to enter into the nasal cavities, they do enter through the nostrils, which we also call anterior nares, into the nasal cavity, and then they're going to exit through the posterior nares where they will enter into the pharynx. So 2, 3, and 4 are three regions of your pharynx. Your nasopharynx is behind the nasal cavity. Your oropharynx is going to extend from the uvula down to the larynx. So this is your oropharynx. Number 4 is your laryngopharynx. And number 5 is your larynx. So basically, air will pass through and air will enter into the glottis of the larynx. Now, if we were talking about the epiglottis is spoon shape. When you swallow food, it will close off the larynx so that food can pass down through to the esophagus, which that's the esophagus. Here's your larynx. So we'll talk about the bronchial tree. So your trachea is 20 C-shaped hyaline cartilage. When you get to the last tracheal cartilage, it is called the carina. Your carina has sensory receptors that if food or particles hit, it will trigger a violent cough reflex. So branching off at the last tracheal ring, the carina, is what we call your primary bronchi. Your primary bronchi split into the left primary bronchi and the right primary bronchi. On this model here, you can see the left lobes. This is called the left superior lobe and the left inferior lobe. It is divided by the left oblique fissure, and then your heart would sit here, so the left lobe has what we call the cardiac notch. Now, to see the bronchial tree, we are going to look at the right side. This is your right primary bronchi. Whenever your primary bronchi divides, these are called your secondary lobar bronchi, and there's 3 because there are 3 lobes on the right lung. So your secondary lobar bronchi is going to split. This is going to be called tertiary or segmental bronchi. Now, bronchi continue to branch until they become tiny bronchi, which we call bronchioles. Now, the difference between a bronchiole and bronchi is made out of cartilage. So this is your secondary lobar and your tertiary segmental bronchi made out of cartilage. These are bronchioles. So this bronchiole is called the terminal bronchiole, which is going to split into the respiratory bronchiole. Now, your respiratory bronchiole opens up into the alveolar duct, which is going to lead to an alveolar sac, which is going to lead to one tiny alveoli. Now, your alveoli is the site of gas exchange, so you can see your pulmonary capillary. This would be where gas exchange would occur.